Hey, Mo.
Hmm?
What other book are we reading this month? You know, besides the guest list.
I thought we was... shoot.
So,
I'm not getting anything.
really?
Pink drink.
Can I get a grande pumpkin spice latte with an extra shot, please? You want a grande?
Yes, please.
Can I get a grande pink drink? That's it?
Yep.
That's all you want?
That's it.
That's it. Thanks.
Why are you talking like this?
What do you mean?
This voice.
My voice.
But really, what are we about to read? Any ideas?
No. You?
Oh, look at that squirrel shadow.
Flu, flu. Flu, flu.
It's gonna do an Instagram poll. Let that be that because
Good idea. Yeah.
I have no ideas.
I think I'm gonna do that too. Little Instagram Polarino. The people won't even know what hit them.
I'll be sure to stick with the theme. I'm gonna do a Stephen King novel for sure.
Classic.
My cousin's making me watch Lovecraft Country, and I think that's a book.
Okay.
That might be one of the options. Also, do want to read Rebecca.
Not sure what that is, but yeah, I'm down.
It's a classic.
Classic.
It is.
I'm gonna do spooky Halloween classics like Edgar Allan Poe, The Brothers Grimm, Dracula. I think that's what I'm gonna do. That's the poll.
Please, Lord, don't let it be Dracula.
What's wrong with Dracula?
There's nothing wrong with Dracula.
It's a classic love tale.
True.
Older than Romeo and Juliet.
It's old, that's what it is.
Ooh.
You don't have any money.
No, I've got money. I just saw $2 in my wallet. And I was like, ooh, $2. But then I realized that's kind of rude.
Unless you want to put it in the tip jar.
Why you gotta call me out like that?
You wanted a receipt?
Yeah, I gotta stall because I gotta put money in the freaking tip thing.
You don't have to.
Here you go. Thanks. Have a good one. She's like, don't give me your dirty money. All right. The results are in. What'd you get?
The Outsider. Clear choice.
Thick read, but okay. Let's see what I got. Oh. I got a tie between your two favorite books, Dracula and Edgar Allan Poe.
Lord.
It's gonna be fun. Should we rock, paper, scissors?
No, I'm always down to rock, paper, scissors, but I also always win.
True. All right. Flip a coin.
Heads, Dracula.
Tails, Edgar Allan Poe.
All right. Hey, Google, flip a coin.
It's heads.
We are gonna read the classic love story of Dracula, and I believe her name is Lucy. Bum, bum,
Da 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 da.
bum, bum.
Da.
All right. Spooktober! Oh my god, I forgot my coffee cup. Hold on.
Okay.
Oh man, yeah. There it is.
I can't scare nobody. I don't even know.
I know, I was like, is this scary? It's just kind of funny.
Spooktober. Boom.
Spooktober.
Spooktober. That is the theme. Hello.
We have 4 books to talk about today for Spooktober.
Are we going to talk about this mug? Bring it back in. It's full center because it's demented.
Look!
She thrifted it from somewhere.
From Goodwill, like years ago.
I honestly did not even know that was yours. We have another roommate whose mug this would be. Like, so I just assumed that she would own that mug. And you were like, no, it's fine.
It's in the spirit of Dracula, really, honestly. Anyway, so let's get cracking on these books.
Yes.
So the first book that we read this month was The Guest List.
By Lucy Foley. I finally finished it.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked it.
Mystery, for sure. Not a lot of crazy things happening, just a lot of a crazy mystery because you're reading it the whole time going like, what's happening?
Yeah, like it was definitely more my type of book. Like this is something I could just knock out really
read real quick.
Like I love mystery crime novels. This is definitely like a Agatha Christie lane, and it really leaned into that. And there were some twists that came in the end because I was like, all right, I already know who did it because that's me. You guys know I'm trying to solve it, McGee. Okay, so I was like, oh, I got it. You know, the clues are here, blah, blah, blah. And then the last few, the last chunk, it was like, bow, 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 bow. And I got it wrong. I got the answer wrong.
Well, the clues are very subtle. So what do we give this book?
I gave it a 4 stars out of 5.
Which means that you'd read it again.
I would.
Enjoyed it.
I did enjoy it.
Yeah.
I'm glad that I own the book. It was great.
Oh, I gave it a 3. What does that mean? I wouldn't read it again?
It was like it was pretty good. You probably wouldn't rush to reread it.
Yeah, I was definitely like so about this. Basically, when I read a mystery once, generally tend to not want to reread it because I already know what's going to happen. So that's the catch-all with this one.
I would read this again just because I like to like write mysteries. So I feel like that's probably why I would tend to.
Yeah, like what are the like
beats that people need
that you take
to keep going through the book,
and how do you put in clues, like that kind of thing, without the audience obviously guessing it immediately. Yeah. So cool. All right, so that's the guest list.
Makes you rethink if you want to do an Irish wedding.
I mean, honestly, she was talking about the weather in this book, and I was like, who
picked this island? Yeah. Even the guests were like, this isn't, I thought she would go to Cabo or somewhere warm. I was like, no, you need to go to
a vacation.
Yes, anyway.
So that's this book, The Guest List by Lucy Foley. All right, second on the list is...
Oh, man. Okay, this book is called I'm Thinking of Ending Things.
Here, you want to hold it? You love it.
I love this book. I'm Thinking of Ending Things by Ian Reid. I cannot stress to you how much I love this book. We are divided. When she told me her rating for this book, I was like, what? Like, help. So I gave this book a 5 stars. I will definitely be rereading this book I'll be reading this book many times. It was so good. It's not long. 204 pages. 9 pages. It was like, this was the quickest read. I read this in literally one day. I could not stop reading it. This was about a couple. They're going on a road trip to meet the boyfriend's parent. And it's just like the way that he created the scenes. I have never really been this scared reading a book ever in my life.
Yeah, definitely a thriller.
When I say that I was really immersed into this car ride, just the idea of having to like break silence with awkward talk was already terrifying. Put that on top of like she has like a stalker and all these kind of crazy things happen. So I loved this book. I loved it. 5 stars. And then we give it to Christine, and she...
Okay, so I gave this book a 2. I mean, I thought it was interesting the way that it was written, but to me, the ending feels like a cop-out, so I just was not impressed with it. I mean, it did scare me, and that's the whole point of Spooktober, so, that was an enjoyable part. It made me think as a person. There was a lot of bigger picture talk in the book, which was very interesting. I mean, I thought that was cool, but I didn't see how it related to the story, so that kind of put me off a little bit. And then there were a lot of things mentioned that never got tied up because of the ending. So that's why I gave it a 2, because I had all these questions. I was like, what about this? What about this? What about this? What about this? And then it's like the author basically just tied it all up with this one thing, and it was like, wow, this kind of seems like a waste of time to me. I'm probably not going to read it again.
And you did have a trigger warning.
It does have sensitive content in it, so there's that too. Yeah. She already said, obviously, there's a stalker aspect as well as
self-harm.
Yeah, self-harm. If you don't want to read that, then
please don't pick this up. But I loved it.
So there's
she
that.
Did not.
And that's Murder, She Wrote,
that's
okay? So the third book we read this month, The Outsider by Stephen King, okay?
This was recommended to me 17 times. I did a poll on Instagram. Everyone was like, read this book. It won the poll single-handedly. I was like, okay, we're reading Stephen King.
Here we go.
I don't know why I've only read one Stephen King book, and I've listened to Mr. Mercedes on audiobook, but I was like, okay, we're reading, and this is not the length of Carrie. I don't think Carrie was this big.
Where were we even going with this?
You were just excited because we tried to read Mr. Mercedes.
Sherman.
We have our own spooker. We should bring the black cat.
My
in here.
cat, yeah. I don't know what he's doing.
Anyway.
He's under the bed. He's acting a fool. Anyway, so this book, what was your rating?
See, I was being nice because I didn't want the Stephen King stans to come and attack me on Goodreads.
I mean, it's fine if you didn't like it.
I think I gave it a 3, but it was really more of a 2.5. I wish we could do half ratings on Goodreads because I would have given it a 2.5 because it wasn't a strong 2 for me, but it was leaning there. So 2.5, 3.
You didn't like it?
No, we differed on this one.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Why didn't you like it?
I liked the beginning. I didn't like the end. It was just too happy. Not happy, but like...
Okay, yeah, interesting. Cool.
The payout was not what I was expecting. It was all, you know...
Oh my god, it's literally like how I felt about the last book we talked about. The payout
Yeah.
was not good.
And I kind of got spoiled for... Spoiler alert. Like, I went into this book unknowingly and got a spoiler for, like, the Mr. Mercedes trilogy. Because I only read one of the books.
Oh,
So-
that's sad. Yeah, okay, so really quick, this book is... Basically, there is a murder happening in a small town. There is a suspect, pretty much like has DNA at the crime scene. It's pretty much he did it kind of thing. And then you find out that maybe there are some twists and turns. The whole story is about trying to find out like what the truth is. And it centers around the main inspector?
Yeah,
Police officer?
it's pretty much the people involved with the investigation.
Yeah.
So, like, the suspects' families, the suspects,
The DA,
the DA, the
prosecutor.
police, the lawyer, the defense attorney.
And they're all trying to figure out this mystery of how one person can be in two places at once. So that's the deal with this. And there is a character from Mr. Mercedes. Obviously, coincidentally enough, that's the only other Stephen King that you've really read. So
Yeah.
that was a nice little tie-in. But yeah, I can see how that would be disappointing if you got a spoiler.
So, please,
yes.
beware. If you like Stephen King and you've only read one Mr. Mercedes book and not the other two of the trilogy, you will find things you don't want to know. It's my fault for not reading him as much, so I have no idea where
Not
things
keeping up
are.
with it.
Yeah, I don't know where things are in his, like, universe.
Yeah. I think I gave this a 4, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, okay. So I gave this a 4. There is sensitive content in this book, and it comes like right off the bat. So if you don't like grisly murders, maybe just skip those parts or
Put the
fast
book
forward.
away. It's not gonna happen.
It's not gonna happen. I did this book on audio, 18 hours, and I could not sit there and listen to those parts. So that was horrible. Other than that, though, I did really, like, I agree with you. I did really like the setup. I think it was really easy to get into the world once you kind of got past that initial part. So that was good. I liked the mystery of it, and I liked guessing what it could be. Like, how could this happen? You know what I mean? Because Stephen King always has like some sort of extra zazz to his books. It's not necessarily all black and white. So I liked that part of it. I do have to agree with you though, and the reason why I didn't give it a 5, the ending was a little disappointing for sure. Because kind of once you figure out what it is, the book is drawn out a little bit too long.
Yes.
And you're just kind of like, okay, well, we know what it is, so why are we still talking about it? You know what I mean? And then it kind of ends, it's all wrapped up very neatly. And you're like, dang, this is Stephen King. Is it really that simple?
So yeah, who knows?
Yeah, who knows? I did hear that the TV show is different.
I know it will be.
The ending.
I know for a
the
fact.
ending is.
I was like, if this was a TV show, I know for a fact how it's going to end because that's how I was expecting the book to end.
Yes.
Anyway, I've never seen the show, so I'm not giving
Yeah.
any spoilers. But if it is spoiler, I'm sorry.
The show is probably, if they do what they did, anyway.
I'm surprised you finished it, to be honest.
Yeah.
You were really not feeling the beginning.
Well, I'm determined. I'm like, if I'm going to start a book, I'm going to finish it, even if I hate it.
I'm already going to know. Once we
Let's
bring
just go
up,
to our next book.
Yeah.
So the final book that we read this month was the horror classic Dracula. Dracula. I don't know how many people have actually read this book, but this is told from the point of views of like journal entries of Mina Harker, Jonathan Seward, Van Helsing, Jonathan Harker, 2 Jonathans, Jonathan and John, and then Lucy.
It's like 5 people.
Yeah, and it's just like the group that basically deals with Dracula. But the whole premise is John Harker is a solicitor from England who is going to Transylvania to help Count Dracula buy property in London because Dracula is trying to move his estate over to London. And he sees like these weird things happening while he's there. He notices, that Dracula never eats. At the end of his trip, sees Dracula doing some funky things. So that was like pretty interesting. This is also so hard to read because the fast parts to me were the dialogues, because obviously, you know, things are happening, but the descriptions of things from different people's point of views, plus the time frames kind of move around a little bit. So I'm not sure if I like that kind of writing, really.
It's really funny because we only have this one copy.
Mm-hmm.
I had to read it on audiobook. I'm not really an audiobook person, but I like the journal entries more than I like the dialogue. So, specifically the journal entries of Dr. Seward. And he was just so funny. The voice actor for that was like beautiful, like so hilarious. And I knew I liked him the moment he was trying to describing his dealings with Count Dracula. I believe it was him.
No, it was Renfield, wasn't it?
Oh, yes, because there's another
one
guy
of his patients
that's also has the condition.
Renfield's part was really funny. It's Seward's patient because he's in charge of a mental hospital, and he watches the patients to see what their, you know, dealings every day are. And Renfield, he started doing this thing where he would collect flies as pets, and it's so interesting to Seward because he's collecting flies as pets.
It's a deviant.
Anyway,
so he was like, the flies must go, and then he was like,
it's nasty.
The flies were going, but then I realized he started to collect spiders, and he like would talk like this. He was like, when I told him he must get rid of the spiders and the flies, he ate one of the flies, and I was like, good God, this man is an undeveloped murderer. And that's literally how he talked. And I was like, I love Dr. Seward. The actor, the character. He's so funny.
I wish you could tell them where to read where to play the audiobook, because that would be in it enough. Like, if you wanted to have Dracula and just
not
play.
Sponsored, but we used the app Libby, and I will put a picture of the one I downloaded, but it's like a you connect to your library. So I don't know if your library will have that exact copy, but I will show a picture of it.
He's the dealings of an undocumented psychopath.
Yes.
He's a sociopath.
He's an undeveloped murderer. I know it. And he talks just like this. Because I don't like audiobooks. So I literally ran and was like, you have to hear this. Because I don't know if you're here, but you have to hear this part. I was literally on the floor laughing. But yes, 2.5 speed.
That's the way to go.
Honestly,
audiobooks they're like chef's kiss, you know what I mean? I read all the other books on audiobook. This is the only one that I read hard copy. So that's the thing. What do we give Dracula? The horror classic.
I will probably give it a 4.
You give it a 4?
Yeah.
You would read it again?
Yeah.
Wow. I'm shocked. Just for Seward?
I like the scientific nature. I'm not going to read it again soon.
Yeah.
Years from now.
Yeah, like 10 years.
But I did like it. It held up. The book held up. It seemed still kind of new. Yes, the way they treated women is kind of stupid to me, in my opinion, but I feel like that is also why you would read something to figure out the time period and stuff. So
it was the turn of the 19th century. That's when this came out.
The fact that Van Helsing treated Mina wow, she's so special because she has a brain. Yeah. And I'm like, oh my God. Just having those moments, I was like, all right.
It's interesting too because she collects all of their journal entries and puts them in this pamphlet
order.
Yeah, so people can read the information and learn from it. And I'm pretty sure that's kind of what Dracula is. Dracula is that pamphlet. She's the essential part of the story, but she gets kind of pushed aside because she's a woman. So
yeah,
LOL Bram, we don't like it. Okay.
Shockingly, yes. 4.
Well, I was gonna give it a 3.
What?
Yeah, I know it's a horror classic, but it's pretty hard to get through. So you have to really be committed to learning the story of Dracula. So if you're not, then it's a hard one to get through. But I would read it again, definitely. But it wasn't the worst thing I've ever read. It definitely is a classic, and it tells you a lot about Dracula as a original vampire. And
I'm laughing because when she pitched this book to me, she's like, it's a romance novel. It's about
I didn't say it was a romance novel.
She completely forgot what the book was about.
I did.
I was like, are you sure anyone's gonna get with this man? Because I'm not seeing how it's working out.
After knowing the end now. The thing is, I've seen the Dracula ballet in
Yes.
many times. That one, it's very romanticized. So I think that is more of what I was remembering. And I think based on the way that you interpret the novel, you could say that Dracula did have, not romantic feelings, but like he did have like some kind of obsession with the two girls, Mina and Lucy, which, you know, we never see his point of view really, because this is from the humans. That would be an interesting storyline.
I'm sure he would have wrote it down.
He probably did. In his Batcave. The funniest part to me is when John Harker is talking about him coming out of his room.
Oh yes, it's
like not
God.
Yeah, not a spoiler, but John Harker looks out the window from his view in Dracula's castle, and he's like, "Good God, what is that?" He sees this little thing going up the side of the castle wall.
It's like this.
Yeah. And then he realizes it might be Dracula, and he's like, "Good God,
I got to get the hell out of here."
It's a really funny part. So, I mean, I enjoyed it for like those parts. And it's a classic. So if you haven't read it, read it once and then put it away for 20 years.
That's probably what I'm going to do. So that's why I'm thinking 4, because I'm like, you should at least read it one time.
Once to, you know, if you like Twilight, you need to know where Edward came from, okay?
Yeah, those are like the people they fought in Eclipse, this community.
They're the Transylvanians. The ones in Twilight, the ones who were like, the Volturi took the power from us.
Yes, because, you know, we
Dracula's
like our vampires vegetarian. Or,
we do.
Animalitarian, whatever you call it.
Vegan. Anyway, too much about Dracula. So that's it.
All right. So that concludes our
Spooktober.
Yeah, our
book
October
list.
wrap up.
So we didn't read too many books, but we are, you know, just starting out. So we'll get there. Honestly, if we read more audiobooks, I'd read audiobooks all day, every day. It's like trying asparagus for the first time. You know, you eat it once and you're like, eat it enough times, gets better. So anyway, our next video is going to be our November book picks.
Yes.
See you later.
That's it.
Ta-ta.
Deuces.
Oh yeah, evil laughs.
Why am I actually scared?
That was a good one.
See you next time.